All right, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. Welcome to episode 3 of Process 34, the podcast. I just want to thank everyone for watching. Thank everyone for listening, following, subscribing. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so now. Find me on YouTube at Process 34, Instagram at Process_34, Facebook, Process 34. The audio podcast is available on Spotify and Apple. If you have not yet liked, shared, commented, subscribed, please do so now. I greatly appreciate it. Not only does it help my page grow, but it helps this message grow. The larger the audience, the more people I have to convey this message to. So thank you. So diving right into it, today I have a very, very special guest with me. He has been with me since the start of Process 34. He is my nephew. He is Brady Benson. How's it going today, Brady?
Good.
Good?
Really good.
What have you been up to?
Nothing. Woke up, made some French toast.
Yeah.
Now I'm here.
Good. Did you get a workout in?
Not yet.
No?
After this, I will, though.
Okay.
Me and my buddy.
So tell me about the senior year you've been having so far.
I mean, I don't think you can say a better start to a senior year. I mean, starting right off the bat, you have football, and we lose our first game, and then we go 11 straight weeks. We went out. And my whole thing this...
Who was that first loss to?
Frankenmuth.
Frankenmuth. What did Frankenmuth do this year?
Lost in the state finals.
State runner-up, so nothing to hang your head about on that one.
Nothing to hang your heads about that one. But, like, my whole senior class, we were like, okay, we've never made it out the first round of playoffs. Let's win districts. We win districts. We're like, okay, let's win regionals. Like, why not? Just do it. We win regionals, and then we go state semifinals. We win that. Then we go to the state finals. We unfortunately lost, but we made it. You know, we shocked the world.
I was there to witness almost every single game. I missed, I think, one or two, but just an incredible group of young kids, or young men, I should say. It was a magical season. I remember, what was it? Was it district finals when you guys played Freeland?
Yeah.
And I mean, no offense, but what a sloppy, poor offensive game from start to finish. But like every other champion, like every other team that has succeeded, you guys found a way to pull it out at the end. And I mean, it was just from that moment, I just kind of knew like this team was destined to do something great. Could you tell us about how that game ended?
Okay, so it's 9-7, or no, was it 9?
Yeah, you have 9-7 Freeland.
Yeah, yep, 9-7. So it's 9-7, fourth quarter, and we had just turned the ball over, and we're like, man. And I'm standing on the sidelines. I'm like,
with seconds,
yeah,
right?
With seconds
remaining.
I'm like, man, our season's over. I have wrestling conditioning on Monday. Like, come on, man. So we're just sitting there, and so we're on defense now. So I go back out in the field. There's like a minute 30 left. I think we have 2 timeouts left. So very first play, they get like 8 yards, 2nd and 2. So we're like, come on, man, timeout. And then they get the ball, they snap it, and we get like a 6-yard loss. So now it's 3rd and 8. We're like, okay, let's do something here. Another 3rd down, and then it's 4th and 12. We get a 4-yard loss on that next play. So we're like, okay, there's 10 seconds left. We're going to try to block this punt. So they go out to punt it, and big O Jace Williams, shout out Jace for saving our season, man, takes his 6'3" arms, lays out, blocks the punt. Zach Legatt recovers it, 2 seconds left. Our kicker, Caden Kolanowski, comes out, kicks it, win the game.
Just to give you a perspective of how it was in the stadium, not necessarily on the sideline, but just in the stands, everything. You know, you have, for instance, so many parents of these seniors.
Yeah.
People are crying.
Yeah. People are walking out.
Season's
crying.
over. Season is done. Mm-hmm. There's no hope. There's no hope. It would take a miracle for you guys to win this game. It was just, I mean, to go from this level of emotion where just the whole entire stadium, every single person, I mean, fans, you got parents, you got little kids running around, people are tearing up, people are sobbing. People are yelling at refs. It's
And
everyone's just in a very negative state of emotion.
let me say why too, though, because Goodrich is such a like small little village community. Everyone was so dedicated to us.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we lose, we all lose.
Yeah, you guys, you fought your asses off, and it paid off. And from there, it was just like it was almost like I want to say like a second chance for you guys. It was like, wow, we were out of the playoffs. We were done. Season was over. Breath of fresh air. Let's go handle business. And they did that from that point on. What did you guys play? 3 more games or 2 more games? Three more games.
We got Orchard Lake, killed them 40-20.
Not even close.
Not even a close game. And they had all these commits, Michigan commit, nothing, man.
Yep.
These little farm boys from Goodrich took it to them.
You guys did great.
And then we played Riverview in the state semifinals. And third play of the game, they get like a 75-yard touchdown. We're like, man.
Yeah,
all right,
to open the game.
This is going to be a dogfight. And then I think we ended up winning like 56-20.
Yeah, I want to say you guys had like almost, somewhere between 30 to 40 unanswered points after that first touchdown they let up. And I mean, one of the most exciting, that and that Freeland game was probably 2 of the most exciting high school football games or just sporting events that I've been to in my life. I mean, it was incredible. Obviously, there was it was even bigger for me because it was, my nephew playing and his whole team, well, not the whole team, but a lot of your senior peers, teammates, you guys have been playing together your whole lives, right?
5 years old, flag football.
Yeah. It's incredible. And then you do wrestling too, also with a lot of those kids from your football team.
I mean, 6 of the 11 starters on the defense are all wrestlers. So
Yeah.
that says something.
Tell me about your wrestling career.
Been going at it since I was 5 years old. It's been a grind. I mean, just a part of my life, and I'm going to stick with it for the rest of my life too. And it's just wrestling today, not just wrestling itself, but Ken Saragano, my coach, who's been my coach since I was 5 years old, has made me into the man I am today.
What got you into wrestling?
So I started karate when I was 4, got my white belt, so okay, I'm done.
Forgot about karate.
Did that, and then I was watching WWE, and I was like, man, I want to wrestle. I want to do this. So that's what I thought wrestling was, and I was in for a rude awakening. So
you were, I guess, picturing jumping up the ropes, doing some pile drivers.
yeah, man, some Hulk Hogan stuff.
Yeah. All right. And you got there and what? It was start running.
Yep. From day one.
Yep.
That's the way I know today. So
Well, it's good. I mean, I think, from what I don't know a lot about wrestling. I do know more than what I did, when you first got into it. But one thing that I've learned from the sport of wrestling that I think differs from a lot of these other sports is it's not only feeding your physical strength. It's not only, it's not only strengthening your body and physical aspects of you. It does quite a number on your mind.
oh yeah,
And it can be good or bad.
yeah. I mean, wrestling builds mental toughness. It builds discipline, and you have to have those 2 things to be successful in the sport. Because wrestling's a sport where it's so easy to lose your composure, and that's where mental toughness comes into play. You're like, man, I'm really tired. Like, I don't know if I can go anymore. You have to turn off that little voice in your head and just keep on going.
Yeah.
You got to power through it. That's the sport.
And it takes a special individual, and it takes a lot of practice, I think, to get there too.
Okay.
And watching you over the years, it seems you've progressed. You've had your setbacks here and there, but you've progressed not only physically but mentally, big time over the course of the what
Year.
How many years has it been now?
This is my 13th season.
13th season. Wow. So, your junior year, it was obviously you still played football, you still wrestled, you had a lot going on. You seem to have struggled a little bit during your wrestling season. Would you be interested in talking about that?
Yeah, so I was cutting a lot of weight last year, and I had to do it.
What does that mean?
So wrestling, you have weight classes in wrestling. You wrestle those certain weight classes, and sometimes if you're on a good team, you have to make that sacrifice to go down another weight class, and that's what I had to do. So I came in this season, I was like 155, 160, right? And then I'm like, Coach, I can make 45. I can do it. So he's like, okay, that'd be great. I wrestled 145 all season. And I started out good, started out really good. And then like over a course of a month, I'm just keep on cutting. It's like, oh my God, it's depleting me. I'm more so mentally drained than physically drained. And it was just a toll on me. And I don't know.
What do you think is like, why do you think it had such a mental toll on you? Was it like, were you becoming obsessed with the cutting this weight and
it wasn't
fixated on that number more than anything else?
It wasn't even the aspect of the sport. It was making 145.
Yeah.
All last year.
So you were having no fun at all.
No fun. Wrestling was a job last year.
Yeah, I remember vividly watching you. It seemed like years prior you're not I guess you're not a physically dominant wrestler where it's like 2 seconds in, this kid's getting pinned, all right, on to the next one. You've always wrestled smart and kind of more reactive, right? So last year I noticed that it was like halfway through period one, or definitely right after period one, you were gassed.
Yeah.
You had nothing left in the tank. You didn't always show it, but people that knew you closely knew, there's what's going on with Brady,
And to go on that, I've always been a bigger kid too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That just didn't help.
Yeah, so
I'm going from wrestling these big kids to wrestling these little squirmers at 145.
Exactly,
It's a big difference. It is.
well, and you have to factor in quickness too.
Yeah.
These guys are 140 all season. They're,
And they used to
at
be
their
like,
peak, they're at 140, and you're
they-
coming in at 170, 165 and dropping all this weight, showing up to wrestle these little spider monkeys, and they're crawling all over you. You can't keep up, right?
Right.
And so obviously once you start performing the way you were performing after, you've won nationals in Tulsa, you've done all these, you've had a pretty illustrious wrestling career from youth all the way through, right? Made it to states, everything. So last year when you start noticing these changes, you start noticing how fatigued you are, you start obsessing about this number that you have to get to every week, and then you start losing.
Yeah, and that confidence level just depletes in wrestling. It's confidence or nothing, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess what made you want to change? What did you notice within you? Because I remember talking to you, having a very meaningful conversation with you. Was it during wrestling? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was February of last year when we started doing this. And, I was going through some stuff. I was talking to you, and then you kind of opened up to me about struggles that you were having mentally, So what made you, I guess, want to change that day? And what did you do to start that change?
I really asked myself one day, I was like, because I was watching something, it just made me think about it. Are you happy as a person? I was like, man, I'm not happy whatsoever. Like, I don't like the person I am right now. Something needs to change. I feel like a robot. Every day is the same. I'm doing the same thing. I'm grinding the same way. And I'm just bottling up all these feelings, just going on the next day. And I'm not expressing myself to anyone about it. So it was hard.
So what, obviously we started doing Process 34. Besides doing that journal, which, for those of you who don't know, there is a Process 34 journal. I think it's still available on Amazon right now. Actually, last time I checked, it was like $8.99. Lord Bezos running a discount without my approval, it sounds like. But if you're interested, go check it out. It's a 30-day challenge in the form of a journal to kind of catapult you into that direction, into that change of life direction. So
highly recommend it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So
it works.
When you started doing that journal, what did you realize right from the start your biggest issue was at hand?
Cutting weight.
Cutting weight.
Yeah.
But what did that like? So would you say it was your mental? Then your mind was your biggest enemy at that point.
Oh yeah.
So
By
what
far.
did you start doing for your mind that helped?
The journaling.
What did you do like as far as like feeding your mind every day outside of doing that Process 34 journal? What were you doing for yourself? Like were you reading self-help books? Were you talking to others about your problems? Just, or was it just the simple fact of writing down your thoughts and feelings for that day that kind of was like a release for you?
It was really just writing it down because I remember starting out. I still write a lot when I journal, but I was writing like paragraphs for every single thing. Like
Yeah.
physical wasn't that much, but my mental, my spiritual, and what I overcame. That's what I was journaling a lot about, and just writing it all down, getting it off my chest. I'm like, man, I feel a lot better. And then rereading it,
Yeah.
you're like, oh wow, yo,
Like down the road, or would you do it on like a daily basis? Go
Daily.
back and read it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of see, or like even like later on that week, you look back at like, damn,
Like,
I was
man.
I was a wreck on Monday.
Yeah,
Look at me.
for real. Look how much I grew from Wednesday to Friday.
Yeah.
2 days.
Yeah. So that it's a wonderful tool to be able to write down those things, write down those feelings, write down those emotions, and
And once you start doing it, you can start catching yourself. Like the things that you overcame, you're like, oh, I feel myself getting irritated. Stop it.
what do you mean by stuff that you overcame? Can you explain that?
So like I just go through my day, and I was always super impatient with people, and I still kind of I have to work on that a lot. I am kind of impatient with people, but like I would get super impatient with them, and I would just come off as so rude, and I would think about Process 34 instantly. I'm like, okay, stop this, just breathe, be a good human, smile, and just talk to them.
So something like an event or something you encountered throughout that day that normal, or I guess normally you would react in a certain way, and more than likely it was a negative way.
Yeah.
And this made you realize, like, through this process, this feeding my mind, feeding my body, feeding my spirit on a daily basis, I am able to handle these situations in a positive manner now. And I can overcome that situation that seemed insurmountable at the time with ease and without it affecting my day or ruining my day. Like I know there's been times in my past where it's something's going to happen or something happens to me during that day, and it could just be as simple as some little old lady pulling out in front of me in the middle, while I'm driving on the road, and I carry that grudge for the rest of the day. Everybody who I'm driving past, if they are just on the road driving while I'm driving,
Yeah, and
I'm upset with them.
Yeah, you come to that realization, like, am I really gonna let that ruin my whole day?
Right. What's really the problem here?
Yeah.
Who's really the problem
It's
here?
you.
Yeah. So
And it takes you a second to realize that it's you.
yeah.
So fix it.
Right. Well, good. And it's so impressive to me. I know at 17 I wasn't doing anything like this. I was more worried about external things. I didn't care about what was going on here and what was going on here. It was more about, what's happening tonight, what are we doing this weekend, or what, just things that aren't really benefiting you. So it's nice to see, especially somebody I care about so deeply, get into this and watch it affect them in a positive way. Mm-hmm. I mean, just from last year to this year, where you are right now in a your mental state of mind. And I mean, it's by you, I guess, feeding your mind in a positive way, it's affected everything about you in a positive way.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect, but I feel like if you would not have addressed that issue that you were having and doing it the way you did it, who knows what would happen?
Yeah.
You might be wrestling 110 this year.
Maybe.
You guys need one too, don't you?
No.
Oh, you don't? You're good on that?
No, we're actually good right now.
All right.
Yeah. Got everyone down to a weight class.
So tell me what, I guess, you're still doing Process 34. We still share. It's been almost a year now. It's been 11 months, a little over 11 months, and we share almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what your process is. What do you do to feed your mind?
Oh, going to the gym.
Going to the gym.
I go to the gym Monday, Tuesday. I take Wednesday off because I usually wrestle on Wednesdays. Thursday, Friday. Right after school, because I don't have a 5th or 6th hour. I have dual enrollment. So I take that and I go to the gym, and my mind, it eases immediately. I don't know what it is about just lifting the serotonin. It boosts me. I love it.
So it puts you in a good mood.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also benefiting your body too.
Yeah.
So what else do you do for your mind? Do you enjoy reading? Do you enjoy writing?
I enjoy writing a lot. I love writing. Like I'll read a book. Like last year I was in AP English, and I ate that class up. I loved it, man. Just writing about books, how it correlates to something else. I really like writing.
What
And also I post a lot of nutrition videos and stuff, and I'm super big on nutrition. And I want to teach people how to eat better. And like you can still eat foods that you want to eat, just substitute it.
And you're making this stuff too, right?
Yeah.
You're buying your own ingredients and coming home, you're weighing everything out and you're cooking it and preparing it yourself, correct?
Yeah, so cooking, that eases my mind too. That's how I feed my mind.
What is your TikTok handle?
Benson.nutrition.
You guys check it out. He's got some funny videos on there, him and his buddies, and he's also got some very informational videos about different recipes that are extremely nutritious and good for you, but also taste and look pretty damn good too, right?
But I only make good food. I wouldn't eat it if it wasn't good.
So, spiritual. How do you feed your spirit? What do you do for yourself that just makes you feel good? Not in a physical way, not in a mental way, but just like, I just did that for somebody, or I just did, and it made me feel good it made my soul feel good. I felt that light. You know what I mean? Like what is it for you that you get that feeling from?
So I used to meditate a ton. I kind of got away from that. I need to get back into it, but meditating was a big thing for me. And really, whenever I got to the spiritual part on Process 34, I would reflect on my day, and I would think about the best thing that happened to me, and I would say how grateful I am for that.
Yeah.
So, per se, I was studying for a test, and I was like, "Man, YouTube, I'm grateful for you."
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah. Shout out to
saved me.
YouTube.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I've taught myself so much with YouTube. It's insane. I mean, I don't have a lot of space in my house to record a podcast, so I thought to myself, well, I'll just build a studio in my basement. But oh yeah, I don't know how to build anything.
Yeah.
So go to YouTube University, look up how to build a wall, how to frame a wall, and before you know it, I got 2 nicely built walls that I did by myself. So, I was able to do a little Process 34 there. I was able to feed that spirit, feed that mind, because it gave me so much confidence. Like, I never in my life, as stupid as it sounds, thought that I could do something like that. Mm-hmm. But then I did it, so then it was like, oh, wow. There's so many things that I can do.
Anything's possible.
Anything. Absolutely anything is possible. So
shout out Kevin Garnett.
Yeah. So what when you say you were meditating, what, like, were you just meditating on anything in specific, or were you just
clearing my mind?
Just cleaning your mind. Focusing on the breath.
Everything go. Count breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out.
And then with your gratitude. So you said every day you would think back on, I guess, what made you feel best for that day, and then write down why you're grateful for it. Are you just focusing on one thing in general? Are you doing that every day? Would you say that that's what feeds your spirit more than anything, is just saying or repeating to yourself what you're grateful for?
Yeah, because in the long run, it reminds me how much I can appreciate those things. Like, for instance, my family. I have an extremely loving family, and I'll write down, man, I am so grateful for my grandpa, my grandma, my uncle, mom, dad, whatever, because they show up for me, they support me, they show empathy, and they just so much love. And I could not be more grateful for that. And every time I write that down, I just feel like I appreciate them so much more.
Yeah.
And I love them even more.
No, absolutely. I think the big thing with gratitude and how wonderful it is to use that to feed your spirit is because we often, I feel like me from my own personal experiences, when I'm struggling the most, it's a pity party. It's poor me, like poor Cody. God, just things just will not work out for me. But then if I just really sit there and think and I really look back on what I have and I write down, like I'm grateful to have a warm car today.
Yeah.
It's freezing outside. Some people don't have heat. I'm grateful for my house, whatever it may be. And it can be the broadest thing or it can be the most exact thing. You notice how much you have to be thankful for, how much you have in your life, and so many other people would just kill for it.
Yeah.
So you immediately feel better. Your spirits are lifted. And that's why I think, when it comes to the spiritual aspect of this, it can be anything at all.
Yeah.
Literally anything at all, as long as it lifts your spirits. As long as it puts a smile on your face and a smile on your heart, that's all it takes, right?
Yep. Like just seeing the family members in the stands, knowing you guys work the 9 to 5, stressful day at the workplace, and you show up to sit in a gym to watch your...
And that works both ways.
Yeah.
And that works both ways, because while I'm sitting at work some days, like, man, it's a rough day at work. I cannot wait to get to that gym tonight, that stanky ass gym, and watch my nephew wrestle, or go watch my daughters do something, or just there's so much. We do have a close family, and we do get a lot of joy out of that. But it doesn't have to be that. It's just anything. Just coming home and seeing my daughters and my wife, just seeing their faces sometimes is all it takes.
Yeah. Sometimes just sitting on the couch with all of them for an hour, just talking, watching TV.
Exactly. Just escaping. Pretty much escaping the everyday life and, just, I guess, just being in the moment with them. And that's another thing too. It's what you get so fixated on, being mindful and being in the moment, when really it's just that simple conversation. It's right now.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going to happen in the future. I could care less about what happened an hour ago.
It doesn't matter.
This conversation is just the only thing that matters right now, and I could not be more grateful for it, and I could not be more grateful to be in the present moment with you and to share this with you.
That was the biggest thing for me too. Last year, like we were talking about me cutting weight, like, okay, I have to make 145, so I'm always thinking the future. I'm like, you gotta stop. You gotta just be in the moment, be present, and it's worked out in my favor. And it's helped me tremendously.
Yeah. I think so too. Like when, obviously you're starving yourself of all these nutrients, that plays, it's just funny how all these things are connected. Everything is connected. You're literally starving yourself. And not only are you starving, are you physically starving? Are you physically hungry? Your mind is starving, your spirit's starving. You're literally dwindling away before our eyes, mind, body, and spirit. And it's just because of that one thing that you chose to do that day, which, it's just kind of snowballs into others.
The thing that kept me going to keep on doing that, though, was I knew I needed to do it for the team.
Yeah.
And that's been Goodrich Wrestling. It's like you do whatever you can do for the team. And making that sacrifice, making that sacrifice, I knew they would do the work too.
Yeah.
So they had my back.
Well, and that's very noble of you.
Mm-hmm.
But I would highly recommend and suggest do it to a level that you can recover from.
Yeah.
And you did.
Mm-hmm.
And we could not be more happy to have you back here fully 100%, mind, body, and spirit. This kid's always got a smile on his face. He's just an amazing senior year so far. It's absolutely incredible. Never in my life would I picture being at Ford Field for a state final game and it have maybe be one of my family members playing.
Yeah.
I've been to them before. I've always dreamt of them myself, but what a cool experience.
I never imagined Goodrich being there. I'll tell you that right now.
It's football, wrestling, you guys, it's just, it seems like another day in the park nowadays, but, they have a very successful wrestling program. Shout out to Goodrich Wrestling. So I wanted to ask you, I guess, how often do you practice Process 34? Even if we don't share on a daily basis, are you still doing something to feed your mind, body, or spirit, or all three of them on a daily basis, or do you take some days off? Like, explain it?
Oh man, Process 34 is just a lifestyle. I mean, physical, what are you doing today? Okay, I'm eating healthy. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to wrestling practice, whatever. You have your mental, okay, are you staying present? Like, what's going on today? Did you accomplish anything good? And then you have your spiritual, how are you feeding your mind that day or your body? And you just look back, like what I do. I look back what I'm grateful for and overcame.
So it's almost like it's become just part of your normal everyday routine.
Yeah, and I'll do certain things in my everyday life. I'm like, okay, if I do this thing, will that have a negative or positive impact on me? And I'll seriously reflect that. I'm like, okay, no, there's no reason to do that because I'll probably have a negative outlook on it.
Yeah. What is your favorite what is your favorite activity to do all around for Process 34?
Like out of mental, spiritual?
Yeah, just period. What is your overall favorite activity to do?
Probably the physical. So
physical.
So I can see like how much I'm doing. And if I'm doing enough, if I'm doing too little, or I need to dial it back a little bit.
And I feel like the physical for you, well, and I think it does for a lot of people, but I think for you too, it does so much for your mind. It does, and it does a lot for your spirit too. But for you personally, I think your mind is just it's like it's at ease if you got your steps in today. Yeah. If you ate right, if you got to that gym, if you did something for your physical, I feel like everything else kind of falls in line for you. It does,
and writing down how much you did, you're like, man, like I didn't think I did enough, but you did way more than enough.
Right. What is the hardest for you to do?
Probably overcame, because it's hard to overcome things. Like the littlest things, getting irritated by a lady driving in front of you or someone driving in front of you. I mean, that can ruin your day, and you just have to overcome it.
So what he's talking about overcame is in the Process 34 journal, it's how did you feed your mind? How did you feed your body? How did you feed your spirit? And at the bottom, after it's all said and done, something you overcame? Mm-hmm. What did you overcome today? And how did you do it in a positive way? And so that's what he's talking about. And it's a challenge for me too, because I guess sometimes I get hung up on like trying to find things, like profound things to, like, what did I overcome today? Like, how did I change someone's life?
Yeah.
But it's as simple as, did I work on my anger issues today? Like did I snap on someone today, or did I just let it go? Did I just let it go? Because just that little thing, that if you, let's say you're struggling, like you've had a couple people say, hey, like you got some anger issues, man. You need to chill out. And, so you start kind of focusing on it, and then you're writing this stuff down, or you're putting it in your notes, whatever. And you look back after a week, after 2 weeks, and you think nothing is changing, but then you have physical evidence that, well, 2 weeks ago, this lady cut me off and I didn't give her the finger. I just said,
write it down.
It's gonna be one of them days.
Write it down. You can feel it.
Yeah,
you can feel it coming, like emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
You can stop it.
Yep. So I think for me, one of the biggest benefits of the Process 34 experience has been the accountability factor.
Yeah.
Sharing it with another person. It keeps me on my toes. There's days where it's like, all right, I got the mental down, I got the spiritual down. Man, I don't want to work out. I would much rather have that ice cream than that salad or whatever it may be. It's my biggest struggle, and it's not because I don't know. It's not because I'm like some out of shape, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes there's days where it's like I don't want to do anything for my body, period. I just don't. And then I'll get a process 34 text from this guy, and it's like, oh, 75,000 steps, by 8 a.m. And then I went to the gym 3 times, and it's just, I'm sitting back. I'm like, damn. I mean, I know I'm not 17 years old, but come on, Cody, get off the couch, just stretch or do something. So it's like that accountability is like, it's huge for me because there are times where it's just like, I want to slack today. I really do. But I know me, if I slack, it ain't just going to be for a day. It's going to continue on and on and on. And before you know it, after 2 weeks, I'm not feeding any of them.
And I think that's how every single human is, because I'll go 3 days without journaling or something. Then I'll get a text from Cody. And it's like, okay, today. And today I'm like, man, okay, I need to catch up.
Yeah.
So the accountability, it's real.
It's huge. It's huge, and I do it with another, one of my good friends, and he's actually in a different time zone. So that's funny too, because it will be, I'll wake up some mornings and I'm feeling it. And, a lot of times I'll do my process 34 the next morning. So I'll reflect back on my previous day that next morning before work, before taking my daughter to school. And, I notice, it's like I have a clear mind. It's really easy for me to reflect back. Sometimes it's hard for me to reflect back on my day at the end of a day.
You're just winding down.
Yeah, and it's like, it's hard for me to have clear thoughts about it. So I usually do it the next morning, and it will be 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. And I'll send that text out to Josh, sorry. And then I'll send him like, oh shit, it's 3:30 in the morning out there. Yeah. So I asked him one day, I was like, does that bother you? And he's like, honestly, no, because it literally starts my day with like, all right, let's get to it. It starts it off with, here's Cody's, he did his thing. I got to do my thing now. Yeah. And it's not to show each other up, or it's not to be like, hey man, tag, you're it. It's just,
it's a reminder. Like, how are you doing?
Yeah. It's love.
Yeah.
It's love. It's, hey, this is what I did today. What are you doing, man? Like, let's help each other.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling, let me know you're struggling, so
talk it out.
Yeah, that part has just been probably my favorite part of process 34. And not to mention, it's connected us to a degree to which I would have never thought imaginable. I have close relationships with people, and then I have, somewhat close relationships with people. Obviously, we're family. We love each other. But it's like, since we've started this adventure with each other, it's, I feel attached to the hip with you.
Yeah.
Or attached at the hip. And same with my friend Josh. It's, he's been in Los Angeles for, I don't know, I want to say like 15 years or something now. And I don't talk to him, or I did not talk to him very often. He's one of those friends where you can pick up where you left off of after 3 years of not talking or seeing each other. But with process 34, it's allowed me to talk to him almost on a daily basis, even if it's just through text. And that has meant the world to me. Yeah. Just that right there feeds my spirit.
Just building that relationship again.
I mean, I love the guy to death, and being able to just talk to him and connect with him is huge to me. And it does feed my spirit to the utmost, so I'm very grateful for that.
And it's going to help too, because I'm about to go off to college. I'm not going to be seeing you all the time like I usually do, so that'll be huge.
Yeah. And just
it's staying connected,
and it's just something where you can do this anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
you can share with anyone anywhere in the world, and really just feel that human connection. Yeah. You're growing together. It's not, you can still do, have your normal everyday conversations. We share a lot about sports and, pop culture, whatever it may be, just the latest gossip or whatever. And then we have our serious talks where it's like, hey man, I'm struggling, like this happened to me and I don't know what to do. What do you think? And da, 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 da. And it's, we're just helping each other grow, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
What have you learned most about yourself through process 34?
I learned most about myself. How do I overcome things? Definitely.
Can you elaborate?
How I overcome things. I don't know. It's just like I'll get back to irritation again. How do I overcome that? And just being better to people.
So you get flustered pretty easily?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
What is it that like flusters you the most? Just for me, I get flustered pretty easily too. And for me, it's like I'm trying to convey something.
People with no common sense.
Well, yeah. But like I'm trying to convey something and I just don't have the words for it. It's like it won't come out. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say, but it's like just, come on. Just you got to understand what I'm trying to say here. And that, it's flustering to me. It's going to the grocery store and 20 people standing in the middle of the aisle and, you're like, "Hey, just want to get to the end of the aisle here. Could you please move?" And 9 times out of 10, I get to look like I'm in the wrong. Yeah. So, for me, it's like, it's a wrap. This grocery shopping session needs to end right this second, or I'm gonna freak out. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed, which my wife can attest to this. I'm still not the person you want to go grocery shopping with. I cannot handle it. There's situations, there's times where it's just like me and a grocery store do not get along. It's I have a very, very, very large lack of patience.
Yeah. So I'll give you a better answer. Learning about not being so self-centered.
What do you mean by that?
So like, for instance, getting irritated by that going grocery store shopping and that person in the aisle. It's like, what if they're having a bad day or something? Just don't always think about yourself.
Yeah. So put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
That is a great point, because I often say that a lot, but I don't. I'm going to be honest, I don't practice it very often. And I think it's, because when I get in those moments, when I get in those fits of rage, nothing else in the world exists.
Yeah.
But that thought that I have in my mind about that person or about that thing. And it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of strength to get back to the point to where you can do what you just said.
Yeah, putting people before yourself.
Yeah. What is it? People or principle before personalities.
Yep.
So it's hard. It's hard to practice. It's hard to do. And if you're able to do that, kudos to you. I mean, that's amazing.
Like, there's no reason to rage at someone when you're like, man, what if they're just having the worst day of their life and you just added to that?
Right.
So just stop.
Yeah. And, you're feeding your spirit with that too, big time.
Yeah.
You're growing just as a human being in that moment where it's like, I can think of so many different situations where in the past I've reacted in a very negative manner, and now today I might still do that, but I do it a lot less.
Yeah.
And for me, that's spiritual growth, that's mental growth. And I could not do any of this without Process 34. I could not do any of this without you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this with me, for being on this journey with me, because not only have you helped yourself, but you've helped me in more ways than you could ever dream of.
And right back at you.
Well, I appreciate that. So any last words or thoughts or anything for anybody out there?
Keep on keeping on. Just be yourself, man.
What do you think about this? Like, so I know, like I was telling Brady before we started, this is the first time I've ever had somebody on this show, and it's like, it's my nephew. I see this kid almost every day. I talk to him all the time, and I'm a nervous wreck before we started the show. And it's like, I don't know why, but I think it's just the idea of having someone down here, and this whole experience is brand new to me. Talking in front of a camera, talking into a microphone, just it's having a light shining on you.
I felt the same way. And then 5 minutes we got into this.
Yeah, nothing. It's a piece of cake. Yeah. Well, you should stick around for the editing portion.
Yeah, that's all you, man.
That's where the fun comes in, which I'm still, learning everything as we go. But
1 minute TikTok videos are already killing me enough.
Yeah, Those, I've not really gotten into the TikTok thing. I have a TikTok handle. I had a previous Process 34 TikTok handle, and
I remember that. Yeah.
it's like I can't get back into the account. Like every time I try to like forget password.
You started another one though, right?
Yeah, so I had to start a new one because every time I like did my recovery password thing, whatever you do through TikTok, it would basically say that the account doesn't exist, but yet if you go on there, you can still see my videos from my previous account. So I'm a little up in the air about TikTok right now, but it is a great tool. It is a great way to get your message out, and you do it in a way where you're sharing something that you're passionate about, and that's awesome. It's a way to not only have fun with, but you're doing something positive for your mind. I think it's obviously positive for your body, and it's probably positive for your spirit because you're building
for other people.
Yeah, you're helping people.
Yeah,
you're doing service work.
Something I love doing. I love helping people.
Yeah,
so it's a win-win.
Same here. Charity work is huge for me. There's nothing better to me than giving back. I absolutely love it. Give back in any way, shape, or form you can, and it just not only are you helping that person, which is an amazing feeling, but you're feeding your spirit so much to where like it's just awesome. I don't know how to describe it. It's an amazing feeling.
Who was it that said? I think it was Elon Musk. He said a reporter asked him, "What was it like making the first $1 million that you made, or $1 billion?" And he was like, "Not as good as feeling as giving back $1 billion to a charity or something."
Yeah. It
just goes to show giving is way more better than taking.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that goes for everyone, and if you don't feel that way, then I highly suggest Process 34. Well, anyways, I just wanted to thank everyone for stopping by. Like I said before, if you have not subscribed yet to my YouTube channel, please do so now. You can click on the Process 34 logo at the bottom of the screen or at the corner of the screen. It will bring you right to it. You can also find the audio version of the podcast available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And please follow me on social media if you have not yet already. Instagram, Process_34. And Facebook, Process 34. And I think, like we were saying before, TikTok too, if you want. There might not be a whole lot of content, but if you want to give me a follow on there too, go do that, please. And also, please follow Brady Benson on TikTok. What was it again, your handle?
Benson.nutrition.
Benson.nutrition, and that is BENSON, correct?
Yep.
All right. Well, that's it, folks. Brady, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
I don't think this will be the last time you'll be on here. Hope there'll be many more times to come. We got to get to the gym one day with you and just show this kid's insane workout sessions, which I think you also post your workout sessions on your TikTok too,
I do.
right?
So me and my buddy Lucas actually started a social media account, King Aesthetics. So go give
Could
that
you
a
spell
follow
that, please?
too. King, AESTHE. I feel like I'm the spelling bee right now.
TICS?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's on TikTok, or is that on multiples?
That's on TikTok. So we post our workouts. Lucas mostly posts the workouts, and I'll post like the nutrition aspect of it.
Okay.
And we go hand in hand. We complement each other. It's a cool thing.
And this is your buddy that you work out or go to school with, or?
So Lucas, I met him through a mutual friend. He actually has a twin brother named Cole, and we met each other, and the three of us, we just bonded like brothers.
Awesome.
So it's a cool thing. And right after this, me and him are actually going to the gym. We're gonna make a vlog.
So is that your regular workout partner?
I mean, every now and then, yeah.
Cool. Well, please, folks, check it out. Maybe you'll even be posting some YouTube content here in the future with it as well. We'll have to see. But anyways, Brady Benson, thank you so much. Have a good one.